Let's bring Matt into this conversation because Matt's also joining me in the studio. So, Matt, Henry points out places like China, India, Pakistan, who we're sending foreign aid to, but frankly, they shouldn't really be so. In my view, I don't think they should go there either. But, I mean, what do you think, Matt?
I think there's absolutely scope for making sure that the money that we spend is properly targeted and that we don't have civil servants. I'm not saying we do, but the temptation might be, given you've got a fixed 0.7% until it's recently been cut, it's supposed to be 0.7%. Oh, well, we'll just dump that because we've got to be a spare cash. We have to spend X billion pounds, so let's just put it over, let's not care about it. No, we have to be ruthless. The people in charge of that money have to be responsible and have to make sure it goes to the right places, because people like all of us involved in this conversation, everyone watching, it's our hard-earned money. So now I'm absolutely with you. In terms of China specifically, China clearly is a big bad wolf as far as we're concerned on the international stage. I do feel uncomfortable about sending money there, but it comes back to the second of my 3 points, or the third of my 3 points, which is our influence around the world. We do want to have influence in places like China. The question then is a country like Pakistan. I'm not a fan of the Pakistani government, but you said it's a rich country. It's not a rich country. If we are helping people on the ground in Pakistan, we have much better chance, again, of influencing their government for the better. If we say, let's cut it by 0.2% or let's make it 0.5% rather than 0.7%, why don't we just go down to 0%? We have to protect it, because there is always a temptation to cut it completely.
Henry.
Matt, I think, in a sense, you're making a valid point. But what's really needed here, as it is across government in all areas, whether it's transport or defence or borders, is a proper, thought-through strategy with a clear vision, clear set of strategic goals, so that the people implementing it actually understand what they should be targeting and why. And everything they do, every project that's developed, needs to be justified against those strategic objectives. If we want to influence China, there needs to be a methodology, a framework under which that occurs. It shouldn't simply be the British ambassador, deputy ambassador, or somebody else from the embassy or wherever going to a reception, having a chat with the foreign minister or deputy foreign minister who says, oh, by the way, could you help out with this hospital, this school, or that project, or that road? And the British ambassador thinks, oh, I've got an opportunity now to influence the foreign minister or whatever minister he is. That's the reality of what happens in a lot of cases. And in fact, because of the poor training of many of our diplomats, their lack of experience now, unfortunately, since civil service reform and so on, the fact is that they don't have the gumption, the ground knowledge, if you like, the ground truth, to understand that they're being played in a variety of ways. I've seen this for 23 years and it's not changed.
Matt, what's the final response to that?
It's difficult to get into the detail of what particular ambassadors are doing. Of course, I can't speak for our ambassadors abroad. I don't have that sort of experience on the ground. What I would say is that you haven't yet addressed, Henry. It looks as though there's a bit more agreement perhaps than we expected, but you haven't addressed this point about trade. That according to this report in 2014, for every pound or every dollar that we contribute abroad, it actually has a really positive blowback here, because our trade, our exports go up, and as a consequence of that, we create jobs. We create jobs for British people.
Very quickly, 20 seconds, and we're going to have to wrap this up, Henry.
Yeah, look, I mean, in certain cases, with certain countries, Republic of Northern Macedonia, I know it's had a positive effect on the trade with that country. Other countries, it doesn't. We're being played. And the thing is, we cannot rely on the expertise of our diplomats and so on to deal with that, or some of the NGOs. And frankly, I don't think we should be putting the foreign aid budget in the hands of other NGOs without monitoring very closely and much more closely what they're doing.